Assalamu alaikum and welcome to Motivation, the show where we dive headfirst into the most amazing minds. And oh boy, do I have a show for you today, because the mind that we are diving into is your mind and the importance of mindset. So I want you to stop whatever it is you're doing. I want you to really lean into this video and understand that this piece of advice that I'm going to be giving you is deep within my core. I believe that it is such an important piece of advice, an advice that can change your life, an advice that will give you the mindset to be able to create the life that you want. It is advice that has changed my life. It is advice that has changed many of those before me, and it is advice that will change many of those to come. So I want you to just take one piece of advice from me. It is that your mindset is everything, and you will become everything that you think about. So understand how powerful the mind is. Understand who you are and what you have in this mind of yours that controls everything in your life. Let's dive into this mind and let's really understand it. It reminds me of a story of Albert Einstein that I once heard. Albert Einstein was on a flight going somewhere. Next to him was an average gentleman sitting with him. So Einstein was bored and he thought to himself, let's have a little bit of fun here. So he says to the gentleman next to him, let's play a game. I'm going to ask you a question, and if you don't know the answer, you give me $50. And then you ask me a question, and if I don't know the answer, I'm going to give you $50,000. So the man thought, here's a perfect thing. Why not? I don't have much to lose, and I actually do have a lot to gain. So he decides, let's go ahead. So Einstein asks him the question. Einstein says to him, how far is the Earth from the moon? And of course, being an average man, he had no idea how far it was. So he said to himself, okay, no problem, Einstein. Here's your $50. Let me pay it to you. I have no idea, and I have no answer to that. Now it's my turn to ask you a question. So he says to Einstein, what goes up the mountain with 3 legs and comes down with 4? So Einstein is perplexed. He leans back into his seat, and he thinks to himself, wait a minute, what is this? Goes through his books, goes through his note. 1 hour of the flight passes by. 2 hours of the flight passes by. Einstein is literally pulling his hair out, not able to get this answer. The most brilliant mind of our generation being defeated by an average or so-called average mind. Okay, so Einstein says to him, I have no idea what it is, pulls out $50,000 and gives it to the man. The man takes the money, puts it in his pocket, and reclines on his seat, closes his eyes to rest a bit. But of course, Einstein wasn't going to let that go, so he says to the man, it's my turn to ask you a question now. So the man says, sure, no problem. So Einstein says, what goes up the hill with 3 legs and comes down with 4? Because, of course, Einstein wanted to know the answer. The man looks at Einstein, pulls out $50 from his pocket, gives it to Einstein, and says, I have no idea. He just made himself a whole lot of cash. That is the power of a mindset. You could be sitting next to the most brilliant mind in the world, but your mind has the ability to be able to make your life better. And that is why mindset is important. So yes, a little bit of humor to get us started, but on a serious note, your mind is like a garden. And we all love beautiful gardens. We all want the best of gardens. We want the green grass. We always talk about the grass being greener on the other side. But the truth is, let's make our grass green. And how do you make your mind a beautiful garden with roses and flowers and trees and grass? How do you do this? It is by seeking knowledge. It is by creating a positive mindset. It is by removing any negativity from your mind, because what you actually want to do is clear this mind of any weeds, any rubbish that was put in that garden, any nonsense that was there in that mind needs to be completely cleared in order for it to be an unbelievably beautiful, green, lush garden. So I want you to understand that if your mind is a garden, fill it with knowledge, fill it with love, fill it with inspiration, fill it with motivation, because your garden will get green. Your garden will be gorgeous. And the beauty part of a garden is that it attracts so many things into it. Beautiful little creatures that want to live in this thing. And those things are called ideas. I want you to understand this metaphor, because I want you to know that in that garden, there is a little caterpillar. And that caterpillar goes around in the grass, eating what he needs to eat, doing what he needs to do, until one day he realizes, I am in a comfort zone. And in all honesty, if I remain in this comfort zone, what will happen to me? I will just die in this comfort zone, not knowing my capabilities. So this caterpillar decides to himself, I'm going to step out of this comfort zone. I am going to make myself into something incredible, something that can change the world around me, something that can change my life. So he crawls up into a little corner and he rolls himself into a cocoon. And that cocoon is scary. And that cocoon is dark. And he knows he's just stepped into the fear zone. He knows he's in a place that he has never been before. So you can imagine his little heart beating, pounding when he is in there. Is there going to be a predator that comes and takes me away? Am I going to be able to do this? Am I going to be able to survive this? But he knows that no matter what, on the other end of it, it's going to be beautiful. On the other end of it, it's going to be incredible. So what does he do? He keeps himself coiled up in there, and it's dark, and it's dingy. But he decides to stay in there for as long as he needs to, and then opens up a little bit of the top of that cocoon, and the light comes in. But it's different, because understand that if one of us had to see him and cut that cocoon open thinking that we were helping him, in actual fact, we would be making his life more difficult, because the wings would not have been fully developed, because it takes that pain that he has to go through, that pain that coming out of the cocoon will do. It squeezes all the nutrients into those wings. Pain is one of the essential parts of us growing. It is not something that needs to hamper us. So when we go through that pain, know that on the other end of it, it's going to be amazing. Know that on the other end of it, you are going to be an incredible, incredible human being, because pain will make you grow. So he pushes himself through that cocoon. Pain hurting him, every little bit of his body as he pushes himself through. But he doesn't think, I want to just stop here. I'm going to give up now. He thinks about how he stepped into the fear zone. How when he got in that point, his heart was pounding and everything was going to change. So he then pushes himself through, and out comes this amazing, beautiful butterfly. So it took him the fear zone. It took him to step into it. It then took him to go into a dark, stingy, cold, a scary place. But at the end of the day, he knew that if I step out of my comfort zone, I will go into the fear zone. And that fear zone will lead me into the growth zone. And this is exactly where he was. And he becomes this amazing, amazing butterfly. But let me explain to you something about a butterfly, which is even more incredible. Because yes, he might have started then, but he goes into a thing called the growth zone, and this butterfly comes out. And the beauty of a butterfly is a thing called the butterfly effect. And what is the butterfly effect? It states that if a butterfly flaps its wings, and the little wind that is created underneath the butterfly builds up over time, and if it flaps its wings in the Amazon jungle, it will then create a hurricane on the other end of the world. So understand that that small wind, that small little act that you have done, those small little things that you do on a daily basis will create a butterfly effect that will take a hurricane onto the other end of the world. You might not see it. You might not be alive to see it. But that is what we are here for, to create things that our children might see, to create things that our children's children might see. It's okay, and let me put it into perspective. 4,000 years ago, yes, you heard me correctly, 4,000 years ago, a man and his son laid a brick in the barren deserts of Saudi Arabia. And today, that place is visited by millions of people on a yearly basis. Today, it is known as the Kaaba. Today, it is a place that all of us flock to worship our Allah. This is the power of the butterfly effect. Because when you do something with a pure intention, it will go up to Allah. And Allah will love your intention. And when He loves your intention, He will take it and He will sponsor it. And when He sponsors it, it will reach every single part of this globe. So do not underestimate your mind and the power of your mind. Do not underestimate that you have it in you to be able to create the butterfly effect. So I ask you, before we go for a short break, what is your butterfly effect? See you shortly. Assalamu alaikum and welcome back. Before the break, we were talking about the butterfly effect. Before the break, we were diving into your mind. Before the break, I asked you to lean into this video. And I want you to lean in even further into this video. I want you to know how important it is. There was a poem written in the 1800s, and it stated, "For want of a horseshoe nail, the horseshoe was lost. For want of a horseshoe, the horse was lost. For want of a horse, the rider was lost. And for want of a rider, the battle was lost. And for want of a battle, the kingdom was lost. All for the want of a horseshoe nail." So when I talk about the butterfly effect, when I want you to understand it, I want you to know that whatever you do, good or bad, significant to you or insignificant to you, there will be repercussions. There will be something that happens and takes it. So then let us look at every action of ours. Let us understand that every thought becomes a thing. As Ernst Nightingale once said, he said that you become what you think. You become what you think. So I want you to know that when you think about something and those thoughts manifest into reality and those thoughts become a thing, know that that thing can change the course of your life, someone else's life, and maybe even the world. So when we look at that, don't we understand that it is imperative for us to think positive thoughts? It is imperative from the core of your existence to make sure that every thought comes into your mind is a positive thought. Every thought that goes through your head is positive, and we drown out all that negative. But I know, you know, and if we are honest with ourselves, you, me, and all of us, we are dwelling in negativity. We are carrying baggage from the past. And this baggage is holding us down. It's not allowing us to look at our positive thoughts. It's not allowing us to become the best versions of ourselves. Why? Because we want to live in the past. The mind lives in the memories of the past and the fear of the future. But we forget about the moments that we are in. We forget about thinking positive thoughts in these moments will be the foundation for everything that we do. And as you think how things are wrong and you are just planning for the hard times, you think about all the ways something could go wrong. Because you have a fear that I could lose my job. Because you have a fear that I could run out of money. But beyond fear, where is your faith? Because the truth is, faith is the oil that takes the friction out of life. So if you have faith that where you are right now is leading you to a positive place in the future, then understand that in this faith, you will be able to think these positive thoughts. You will remove the negativity. You will get rid of the baggage that was in your head of your past. You will forget about the mistakes that you made in the past. Not forget to a point where you do not learn from them. You will learn from them. Because if you do not learn from them, you will become what you think. When you fear something, when you feel sad about something, when you feel depressed about things, that is what you will become. And you will be stuck in that cycle of thinking to yourself that this is exactly what life is. Because if it's going to be negative, that is what it will become. You will become the things that you dread. You will become the fear that is holding you down. You will become the baggage that is pulling you back. You will become a person that no one wants to be around. Why? Because you're filled with negativity. Because your energies around you are constantly negative. And the worst part is, your mind will never be able to bring to life the most beautiful, amazing thoughts, actions, books, businesses that you have in here, because you are holding yourself back. You do not want to become the best version of yourself. Les Brown once spoke about the richest place in the world. And the truth is, we all think that it is Dubai, or one of the Arab countries, or one of these countries that have oil or gold, maybe the USA, or one of the European countries. No, no, make no mistake. The richest place in the world is the graveyard. Yes, you heard me correctly. The richest place in the world is the graveyard. Because in the graveyard, we have ideas that were never born, businesses that were never started. We have books that were never written and advice that was never given. People took it with them. Why? Because they were held back by baggage. Because they thought that if I say something, someone would look at me and think that I am crazy. But no one is going to do that. Why do we not take what's in our minds and bring it to life? I ask the elderly to share your wisdom with the youth. We need it. I ask the youth to search for the elderly and look for their wisdom. Look for what they have inside, because what they have seen, we have not even heard of as yet. So the truth be told, if you want to become a great individual with an amazing mindset, be with people who are amazing as well. Find optimistic people. Our beloved Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam had a motto in life, and his motto was, I love optimism. Yes, optimism, not pessimism. Optimism is what can give us this mindset. Optimism is what can make us absolutely amazing. So don't make that graveyard richer. Instead, think positively. Become amazing. Let your creativity out. Be the vessel that carries you to those amazing goals of yours. Because within you, it can happen. You have the power in this mind of yours to bring all of it into reality. But you are the only one that is holding yourself back. So I beg you, please do not hold yourself back. Lift yourself up. Please do not be motivated for these 5 minutes only. When this ends, I want you to pick yourself up. I want you to open that book and start writing. I want you to share wisdom or start that idea that you once had, because it's all within you that this positivity is being bred. It is all within you that we are going to become richer while we are alive. And you know the beauty of our religion is that even if you do something now that can only benefit someone 100 years from now, you will still be rewarded for that. So what is holding you back? What is stopping you from being the most amazing individual in your life while you are here, while you have breath in your system, while you have blood flowing through your veins? Let it be blood of positivity. Let it be a mindset of positivity. Be the picture of the version of yourself that you want to become. I want you to close your eyes and picture that version. Do you really want to become that person? Do you really want to be that individual? Because if you do, you're looking right back at me now saying, yes, I do. You're feeling it inside of you. You're feeling this positivity coursing through your veins. You're feeling this mindset of yours changing. I know the ideas you had. You know the ideas you've had. Why is it stuck? Why have we stopped ourselves? Why are we sitting there saying, I am not capable? Because each one of us was born with a talent. Each one of us was born with the ability to lift the next person up. Each one of us needs to change our life. Once it was said on the show, a young gentleman told me, when you die and you are in that grave and you have left many things behind, and someone is standing there pointing at that grave saying to another person, I am who I am because of that man over there. And that is the life that we need to live. A life filled with positivity, a life filled with ambition, a life filled with greatness, a life filled with helping others. Because if you are not making someone else's life better, then please tell me, what are you doing? Why are we here? Surely we have a reason. When we go to the graveyard and we look at the headstone of someone or the headboard of someone, it gives the name, it gives the surname. There's a dua or there's a saying. Whichever graveyard you go to, you will see something. But there's a very important piece that a lot of us miss. It shows the year the person was born, and it shows the year that the person passed away. And in between that is a little dash. Currently, you are in that dash. And as life dashes away from us, understand that that dash is so important. That dash is where you need to create things that are more important than anything that you have ever done. So make your dash amazing. Make your life amazing. Think positive thoughts. Be positive for those around you. And when negativity steps in, push it out. Because Newton's law of motion states that an object will remain in motion until acted upon by an opposing force. So I truly believe that negativity will remain in motion until acted upon by positivity. And positivity will remain in motion until acted upon by negativity. So when we get that ball of positivity going, do not put anything negative in front of it. Instead, keep it positive, keep it motivated. Look into your mind and be the best version of yourself. This is motivation, and let me motivate you.